had the Civil Rights Movement, which was a movement that was, in my opinion, one of the greatest acts of civil rights movements in human history, with hundreds of people, notable black people who put their lives on the line. Just to add a few, you had obviously MLK, who was a young Baptist preacher, an intellect, who started off being who white people would be considered a good Negro, but he was turned into a radical, and on his last days, he was moving toward economic liberation for black people, black Americans. You have obviously had Malcolm X, who we know started off as a young street thug and morphed into one of the greatest black leaders in human history. Then you have people like James Baldwin, who was a author, ex-preacher, who was a intellect. He put his intellect into the greatest form of written intellect I've ever read, personally. You have a beautiful black foundational black and women like Mahalia Jackson, who was a gospel singer, who was prolific, who was innovative, who took her gospel singing and mixed it with activism, the greatest form of singing probably ever. Then you have black American women like Nina Simone, who was an activist in her time. She used her music to transform the way people thought about black suffering. You had people like Medgar Evers. You had foundational black Americans all up and through that civil rights movement that helped move our people forward, becoming martyrs, becoming some of the most influential agitators of human justice ever created on the planet Earth. And then you had the Black Power movements. In my opinion, one of the most resilient acts of young black people to establish a form of organizing, a form of self-determination. The Black Power movements in the early 60s and 70s, to me, one of the greatest forms of resistance in human history. That inspired many movements. It inspired the Black Spade, which, in my opinion, inspired the birth of hip-hop. Family, black American movements, activism, and martyrism changed the planet. It is the reason why people are flocking in droves to get to this country and don't know nothing about the sacrifices black Americans, foundational black Americans, had to make to get this country to be what it is today. Peace to you, Cotton Club Radio. You know what it is. I'm out of here.